Hey there, friends. Welcome back to the channel. Today, I've got a real treat for you. A journey deep into the heart of Irish mythology. So, picture this. It's a dark, misty night in the Irish countryside. The rolling hills are cloaked in shadows, and a thick fog hangs low over the moors. The only sound? The distant clip-clop of horse hooves echoing through the still night air. A chill breeze rustles through the ancient oaks, making the leaves whisper secrets of old. Suddenly, out of the corner of your eye, you catch a glimpse of a rider, cloaked in darkness, moving like a phantom across the landscape. In the shadows of Ireland's ancient hills, a chilling figure rides. A harbinger of death, a spectre of folklore, the Dullahan awaits. Today we're diving into the eerie legend of the Dullahan, the Headless Horseman of Irish mythology. Buckle up, because this is gonna be one wild ride. So, where did this spooky figure come from? Let's rewind the clock to ancient times, back to the world of the Celts. Irish mythology is a rich tapestry woven from stories passed down orally over generations. These weren't just bedtime stories, they were vital pieces of cultural identity, explanations for the mysteries of life and death. One key figure linked to the origins of the Dullahan is Crom Dubh, which translates to Dark Crooked One. Crom Dubh was a fertility god, but he wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. Legend has it that he demanded human sacrifices, real dark stuff. Some historians believe that the Dullahan emerged as a personification of these sacrificial practices, a spectral reminder of the past. Back in those days, the line between the natural and supernatural was pretty blurry. People believed that gods, spirits, and creatures roamed the earth alongside them. The Dullahan might have been a way to personify death, a force that was both feared and respected. After all, in a time without modern medicine or science, death was a constant and often unpredictable presence. Irish society placed a strong emphasis on oral tradition. Without written records, stories evolved with each telling, growing richer and more complex. The Dullahan's legend is an example of how a myth can reflect the values, fears, and hopes of a culture. Imagine you're out late at night, and you see a rider approaching. At first, you might think it's just another traveler. But as he gets closer, you realize something's off. First off, he's dressed head to toe in black, flowing robes that flutter even when there's no wind. His horse is a massive black stallion, with eyes that burn like embers and nostrils that snort out steam. But the real kicker? The rider has no head. But wait, he hasn't lost it entirely. The Dullahan carries his own head under one arm as he rides. And this isn't just any old head. It's described as having skin the color of moldy cheese, with a grin that literally touches both sides of the face. His eyes are huge and constantly darting about, able to see across the countryside even on the darkest nights. As if that isn't creepy enough, the Dullahan wields a whip made from a human spine. With it, he can whip open gates and doors, no lock can stop him. Then there's the death coach, or coiste bodhar. In some tales, the Dullahan doesn't ride alone but drives a black coach pulled by 6 headless horses. The carriage is adorned with funeral objects, and the thunderous sound of its wheels is said to be the last thing some poor souls ever hear. When the Dullahan stops riding, it's a dire omen. It means someone is about to die. And once he calls out a name, that person's fate is sealed. Spooky stuff, huh? Now, let's delve into the stories that have kept this legend alive. All across Ireland, from the craggy cliffs of the west to the rolling plains of the east, tales of the Dullahan have been whispered around hearth fires for centuries. In one tale from County Sligo, a young farmer was returning home at dusk when he heard the sound of hooves behind him. Turning around, he saw the Dullahan speeding towards him. Terrified, he tried to outrun the spectre, but tripped and fell. As the Dullahan approached, the farmer desperately tossed his gold coin at the figure. To his astonishment, the Dullahan reared back and vanished into the night. Another story tells of a woman in County Tyrone who was peering out her window late one night. She saw the Dullahan riding past and, out of morbid curiosity, continued to watch. Sensing her gaze, the Dullahan stopped and hurled a basin of blood in her face. From that day forward, she was blinded in one eye. The Dullahan is often said to appear during festivals like Samhain, the Celtic precursor to Halloween. It's when the veil between the living and the dead is thinnest. People believed that staying indoors with curtains drawn was the best way to avoid unwelcome encounters. Crossroads are another hotspot for supernatural happenings. In Irish folklore, crossroads are liminal spaces, places of transition and possibility. The Dullahan is frequently cited at these intersections, perhaps symbolizing the crossing between life and death. So what's the deal with all this headless action? On a deeper level, the Dullahan symbolizes the inevitability of death. He's an unyielding figure. No amount of pleading or bargaining can sway him. In that sense, he's a bit like the Grim Reaper, serving as a reminder that death comes for us all. The fact that he carries his own head might represent a loss of rationality or control, a physical manifestation of the idea that death is beyond human understanding. The Dullahan's associations with darkness, crossroads, and festivals like Samhain highlight themes of transition and change. Life and death, past and present, the Dullahan embodies the in-between. Remember the gold coins? The belief that gold can repel the Dullahan gave people a sense of agency. Carrying a bit of gold was like having a talisman against death itself. These stories also reflect how communities dealt with the harsh realities of their world. By personifying death, they could confront their fears in a tangible way. Who doesn't love a good scary story to get the adrenaline pumping? Now, the Dullahan isn't flying solo in the realm of headless phantoms. Over in the United States, we have the tale of the Headless Horseman from The Legend of Sleepy Hollow by Washington Irving, featuring a spectral rider who haunts the area after losing his head in battle. Irving's tale may have been influenced by European legends brought over by immigrants. The parallels between the Dullahan and the Headless Horseman suggest a shared fascination with headless apparitions. In Germany, legends tell of the headless huntsman who roams the forests, while in Scandinavian folklore, the wild hunt sees ghostly riders traversing the night sky. Even in Indian mythology, there are beings like the Kabanda, a headless creature from the Ramayana. Across cultures, headlessness often symbolizes a loss of identity or a connection to the spiritual realm. It's amazing how different societies, separated by vast distances, have developed similar legends. Maybe it's a testament to universal human fears and the way we process the concept of death. So, how's the Dullahan faring in the 21st century? Quite well, actually. This legendary figure has galloped into various forms of modern media. In literature, authors have embraced the Dullahan in fantasy novels, giving new life to the old legend. The eerie imagery and dark themes fit perfectly within the horror and fantasy genres. Anime fans might recognize the Dullahan from Durarara, where the character Selti Sturluson is a modern interpretation of the myth. She rides a black motorcycle instead of a horse and communicates via text messages since, she doesn't have a mouth. Video games are another realm where the Dullahan thrives. Games like Final Fantasy, Castlevania, and Golden Sun feature enemies or characters inspired by the Headless Rider. His menacing presence adds excitement and challenge for players. In film and television, the concept of the Headless Horseman continues to captivate audiences. Whether it's a direct adaptation or a subtle nod, the Dullahan's legacy lives on. Back in Ireland, there's been a resurgence of interest in traditional folklore. Festivals celebrate mythical figures, and the Dullahan has become a sort of cultural icon. Well, folks, we've journeyed through misty moors and ancient tales, unraveling the mysteries of the Dullahan, the Headless Horseman of Irish mythology. From his chilling origins rooted in Celtic rituals to his terrifying rides through the countryside, the Dullahan embodies themes that are as relevant today as they were centuries ago. So why does the Dullahan continue to captivate us? Maybe it's because, at our core, we're drawn to the unknown. Myths like these allow us to explore dark themes in a way that's thrilling rather than just scary. Plus, they remind us of the rich tapestry of human culture and imagination. I'd love to hear from you. What do you think about the Dullahan? Have you ever encountered similar myths in your culture? Share your thoughts, stories, or theories in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Irish mythology, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe for more awesome content. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Until next time, keep your eyes peeled. You never know what might be lurking in the shadows. Stay curious, my friends.